Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little while since I've done a live, so just going to get back into it for a moment. Welcome back. We're here to talk about SpaceX Starship, the next flight. And what does that mean for the future of Starship? What does that mean for the future of the program? What does it mean for Artemis 3? What's going on at Starbase? All the static fires, Flight 14, Ship 41, Ship 40. What's going on? Are there TFRs? Are there people that are building the next generation of Starship? Let's get me over here a little bit further here. There we go. Hey, everybody. Not that button. There we go. Gotta extend me out a little bit here and get me into the shot. Okay. This is an insane time to be a spaceflight fan. Now, if you're not aware, SpaceX is currently building the next version of Starship and also going to be flying the next version of Starship in the next month-ish, right? By the end of this month, hopefully we can get a new flight of Starship. Now, they just did a static fire. Thanks for the hearts in chat. Thank you so much for that. They just did a static fire at Massey's for the ship. They did a ship static fire for the next ship as well. Or they did a cryo. I'm not sure if they did. Did they do a static fire yet? Let me take a look at that. Ship 40, static fire at Massey's. 60-second static fire for the 13th flight. Ship 40 went back to production after that flight, or after that static fire. And also, there's some other stuff going on at SLC 37A, which is crazy. We're going to talk about that too. There's a bunch of stuff that just happened, so we're going to like roll back the clock a little bit too. So, and we have some visuals for you, and we're going to be talking about the latest updates from NASA, Artemis 3, etc. on this stream. So if you're new here, thank you for joining. If you've been here for a while, thank you for sticking around. I know it's few and far between that I do a stream nowadays, but I plan on doing them a little bit more often and a little bit better cadence than before. So make sure that you stop by, and let me put up a poll here for everybody. Will make sure to vote on this poll too. The next Starship make it to orbit? Exclamation point, question mark. Yes or no. There we go. And that's going to be in the chat. So make sure to get in chat and start chatting around for the next poll as well. So let's go back a little bit. I'm going to bring you into the Discord right now. And then we're going to be talking about some of the past and also some of the future. There are some great pictures, great images, great videos on our Discord. So just want to let you know about that. Let's get into it real quick. SpaceX Tesla General over there. Now let's get into the actual news here. So let's go back to June 28th, 2026. Starship Gazer, amazing photographer at Starbase. All the props go to Starship Gazer. Doing what I did, kept doing it. Side of the road, doing it better than me, 100%. More conviction. They can stay there for as long as they want. But on 6/28, they posted Starship 41 rolling out to Starbase Massey test site for initial cryo-proof testing. This will be the ship for Starship Flight 14. That's on the 28th of June. That's not even this month. I'll look at Starship 41's heat shield while rolling at Starbase. And you can see this heat shield is so much better than V2. Look at this. It's so perfect compared to the other ships before it. Again, the beautiful work by Starship Gazer here, getting every detail of every single tile of this beautiful starship. Now, Booster 22's Comet Dome has been moved into Megabase 1. That happened June 29th. And then on the 29th, something actually impressive happened at Massey's. Ship 41 cryo test at Massey's. And this is a time lapse, and this is for Flight 14. So the time lapse of that, it seemed like everything went well. We don't have any information about it. Nobody really does. It seemed like it went well. Nobody has like insider information unless they know somebody in there. But from the videos, from the photos, everything that we know so far, all the data that we have so far, it seemed like it went really well. Ship 40 was rolled out today morning at Massey's, head of 6-engine static fire. That was July 1st. This comes after Ship 41 completed its cryo-proof test. So the Massey's site, if you're not familiar, it used to be a gun range. And a little tidbit about, let me just say, a little drama happened at this firing range at some point. And I want to tell you, I want to tell you about that because it is actually like unhinged, crazy behavior from somebody. And I want to make sure that that we tell the stories that happen there. I think that's important too. Not just about the ship, but about the people and about the things that happened on the side of Highway 4. So I'm not going to name names, but there was a streamer, and that streamer, they didn't take criticism well on the internet. Let's just say that. They were on YouTube, didn't take any criticism well at all. People were calling them out for changing their gear from a camera that somebody bought them, apparently. Like somebody donated a camera or somebody bought them a camera. I'm fuzzy on that detail. But what happened was the streamer started using their phone for live streaming. Now, I am a person who live streamed at Starbase for about almost a year. So I know what it's like to lug a backpack full of gear, heavy tripods, all of the things, set it up. And by the time you're set up, you're sweating because it's really hot there. It's extremely hot. It's 100 degrees and you're standing out there in the heat and in the sun, you're baking literally. And you don't want to carry all that gear around. And this person, they were mad that they were using their phone to stream. They started streaming with their phone. And the streamer said, you know what? It's so much easier for me to stream with my phone. I get you very close to, if not better, videos of the ship than what I would have with this camera, even though the camera had a really intense zoom on it. Phones have a pretty good zoom. Now, I was in the same position. I know exactly what that's like. I had a 600 millimeter lens. It was huge. It was like this big. It was out of the frame. It was so big. And I know putting that in my backpack, putting that in my gear bag, putting in my camera, putting a tripod down, doing all the things, getting my streaming device set up, getting my Wi-Fi set up. It took forever. Now, what you could do is have a tripod and have a phone, hit go live on your YouTube app. In your live, you can talk to people if you have a mic, and then you can also zoom in on the ship. And I think that's what that streamer started doing. People started criticizing them for it. So they went kind of, let's just say, some drama, and they started filming themselves at this gun range, telling people that if they had a problem with it, come get them, basically. Which I thought was, like, at that point, I thought was ridiculous. You know, you don't just do that to people. You just be like, yo, come get some. I thought that was pretty funny. It was very unhinged, mind you, very unhinged. I don't think anybody should have done it. I think that was very silly, and also it's the kind of wild attitude that was at Starbase at the time. There were people from all over the world that just wanted to see this thing. They wanted some sort of something from it. whether it's just to be there, myself included. I thought, hey, I can go to Starbase. I could be part of this in some way for my own personal, like, I just want to do it for me, and I had the really amazing support of the community um, to help me get there and to keep me there for a while, and which I'm very grateful for. And I'm like completely, utterly blessed for it. And I know that the, uh, the options to doing that were very slim at that point. So I was one of the first ones to go film at Starbase, and I know what that's like. So there's a lot of people there. There were a lot of people there. They were very interesting. Let's just say that. I'm a pretty normal dude. I think the people that I met there were, um, let me see how to say this without seeming inconsiderate, because some people were there for the right reasons and some people were not. Let's just put it that way. Some people were there to benefit themselves in any way they could. Some people were there to lie, cheat, and steal. Some people were there to do the right thing, but there were some really interesting characters. I've told the story a million times before, but I'll say it one more time because if you're new here and you have not been part of this community before, there was a situation. I was streaming pretty late at night. I think it was 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then I ended up staying till like 11. So I did like a 3-hour stream late at night, and it's in the archive someplace on the channel. And I think it's still there. I think that stream is there, but what happened was not filmed because the person that was there talking to me got super sketchy super quick. And those are the kind of people you had to deal with in the middle of nowhere, 30 miles from nowhere in Texas, no security around, nobody around to save you. SpaceX security is there for SpaceX pretty much alone and only. They will help you if you need help, but there were times when people definitely needed help and they were not going to help because they weren't going to get out of their little booth and, risk themselves for people outside. Now, other times they did, but there were times when they did not for sure. Now, this person approached me, asked me what I was doing, and I said, "Yeah, I'm streaming right now for YouTube." And they kept asking me questions, and I wanted to continue the stream and say things like, "Hey, this ship's new tiles, XYZ," whatever, whatever I was talking about that night. And like I said, it was late. It was just like you had to go out late if you wanted to get anything live done there. You could take photos, you could get video clips throughout the day. You park your car. It's, you have air conditioning in your car, which is great. And then you just, when you're done filming, jump in your car, run the AC for a little bit, and then go shoot some more footage. I think that's what I did the majority of the time when I was there. When I was getting clips, like the ones that you see, not these ones behind me, but the other ones behind me. So when I was doing those clips, when I was getting those shots, I was doing the old AC move, which was you get in your car, you shoot a little footage, turn on the car, get some AC, and then when you're done with that, you go back out and shoot more footage. Now, that's what I was doing that night. It was pretty hot still. It was in the middle of summer. Um, it was 85 degrees. I was jumping in and out of my car here and there, even at 8 o'clock at night. And when I went in my car one time, I got back out. This guy's like lurking around. Not even there's nobody else around except for me and like one other streamer. Um, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jess, but the um, the other person that was there kind of left. They packed up and they left, and then it was like me and this dude, and the dude kept hanging out and like getting real close to my gear, and I had to I had to move my gear a few times to get a better shot, which he followed me down the street to get a better shot. So I had to pick up my gear. Everything was on my tripod too, so I just picked up my tripod, walked back towards my car, and then I was standing there filming one more thing, like the nose of the Starship, like one last time, and then I went off stream. I said, "Okay, take care, everybody, and I'll see you later." And then I logged off, and right when I logged off, I saw the dude reach into his pants, and he was like shuffling around his like in his pocket or something. Um, and the details are a little fuzzy because it's been a while. But what he did was, I could see a handle of something like where it's not supposed to be, like in his, like in his pants, like in the waistband of his pants or in his pocket or something. I was like, oh, that's not good. So what I did, what I usually do is take all my gear, pack it up in my case, in the cases, very delicately, very gently, very nicely, because I don't want to ruin any of my really good gear. But what I did was keep my camera on the tripod with the lens on it, put the lens cap on real quick, put that stuff in my back seat real quick, and said, "See you later, dude." And I shut my door and I left. Now, this dude was acting super sketchy for about 2 hours while I was filming. Just always lurking around, always looking at me, always looking at my gear, never looking at the rocket, even though this person said they came all the way from another country to see the rocket, and they were just there camping on the beach, they said. They're going to be camping on the beach for the foreseeable future. And I thought that was interesting, that they would do that. They would make that move to get to the beach and just hang out there. That was cool. I think what they ended up doing was probably trying to rob people and get some money and then do whatever they were going to do, like they were trying to do to me. And that never materialized for them. So um, maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it or I didn't hear anything about this person afterwards either. So who knows? Who really knows what happened down there? But I think there were some really shady people there at Starbase. So it's really one of those places where, yes, go. If you have the opportunity, I would highly suggest going to Starbase. But I also highly suggest you be very, very careful. It's different now. There's more security, there's more vehicles around. I would say go during the daylight hours because there are more people and more workers, less shady, um, very hot, mind you, but bring water and snacks with you, water and food with you, and make sure your gas is filled up because it's a pretty far drive out there, unless you're EV, and then make sure you're topped up and you have enough charge to get back and a little bit extra because you never know. It's a hot day. Um, so Starbase is and always will be a wild place. That's all I'm going to say. I think because it's so far away from everything. It's different now. It's much different now than it used to be. But then it was a wild time, and I'm happy I was part of it. Now let's get back to what's happening at Massey's here, because over the last few days, things have been really ramping up for the next flight. Ship 40 was rolled out at 7/1, July 1st. That's 5 days ago. TFR has also been posted that day. So people were like, oh, okay, for potential 6-engine static fire of Ship 40 from Tuesday, July 1st to Tuesday, July 8th. Now, on July 1st, one, like, what was it? The TFR started at 1:12 p.m. And then at 6 o'clock, they did a static fire, a 60-second static fire at Massey's, which is very impressive. And here's the video from SpaceX of that static fire. 60-second static fire, the 13th flight test. It's so impressive to see this actually come to fruition and to actually work. I'm so excited that this works because um, they have basically an assembly line for rockets now, which means if they do need 15 tankers or 15 flights to get enough fuel to go to Mars, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to um, conveyor belt all the pieces that they need to the numerous launch sites. Starbase, there's going to be one at Kennedy Space Center, and who else knows where else, where they're going to put one on the West Coast, one in the Bahamas, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to figure out the logistics of shipping a Starship from Starbase to Kennedy Space Center, hopefully sometime this year, if all goes well. And that's the static fire from the SpaceX Massey's site. Now, Ship 40 is returning to production site, and this is like 7/2, right? 7/2/2026, and that's at 5:56 a.m. Starship, SpaceX posted that 1:05 p.m. It's moving along. Ship 40 is returning to production site after a successful 6-engine hot fire test yesterday. Now we'll undergo final touches before the Flight 13 going forward. Now, also, this is really cool. Check this out. This is something I've been interested in for a while. Fourth module of the SLC 37A has been stacked. The tower is now 4 ninth modules tall. And that will be a new tower for Starship. NSF posted that. I'm really interested in that. Florida is, if you're a spaceflight enthusiast, Florida is your destination. NASA, of course, the place to go. So it's really cool to see Starship coming to Florida. Ship 42 has started stacking a Mega Bay 2, and that was on 7/3. So everything happened in a rapid succession. 7/2, 7/3. Starship Gazer, of course, getting the shot. But Ship 42, look at this shot. It's so good. Like how do they get this access? I mean, I know how they get it. They just like stand outside of the road, but it's such a good, like what a sneaky way to check out Starship, right? Ship 41 returned to production site after second round of some sort of testing? Question mark. What was the testing? Nobody knows. Nobody really knows at this point. So let me know if you know in the comments. I think that would be really interesting to see what everybody's ideas are about that and what kind of testing they're doing so far. And if you think Starship was going to get to orbit, just let me know in the chat. Right now there is there's a poll going on. We have a few votes right now, but we're going to get some more votes hopefully in the future. I know this is a late stream for a lot of people. For me too. I used to go to bed at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. So I think the future of Starship is going to be impressive. I think that the Starship is going to make it. This is my prediction. Okay. I think my prediction is I think Starship is going to be able to do everything that needs to be done for the next flight in order to get to the flight after that. I don't think there's going to be a mishap. It's not going to do a New Glenn and blow up the whole pad. They've already done that. They don't need to do that again. They've already done the whole destroy the pad thing. Welcome to the club, by the way, Blue Origin, for blowing up the pad of your New Glenn. And New Glenn actually, Blue Origin posted a video. Let me try to pull that up for you. Actually, it's kind of silly. Let me see if I can find it for you, but it's kind of silly because they posted this like a CG version of the new pad. I think I saw it over here. Yeah, there it is. But it's cool and it looks pretty interesting. I don't know how I'm going to post it to you though. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick before we go any further. I think I can do it over here. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see here. So let's see. So this is the video of the new pad, and I'm going to try to make this as, I don't think I can make it much bigger than this, but this is how it's going to work for us today. So basically what they did, oh my God, they made this so silly. This player is so silly. You can see this tiny, tiny player with all of the controls, but they're sending New Glenn out. They're backing it up, and you can absolutely tell that this is like horrible CG. They have to hire somebody or pay extra for that, for a better artist to do all these renderings, or give them a little bit more time to get a more detailed view of it. It does look great for what it is, but they destroyed their pad and now they're putting everything back together. So, like, like everything else, it's going to be a work in progress for a while, but they want to launch this. They want to have this thing ready by the end of the year. They want to rebuild the whole pad basically by the end of the year. That's the rumor about town, right? So who knows if that's actually going to be the truth, but we all know that Bezos moves fast and Bezos has enough money to throw at anything that he doesn't really he doesn't really need funding, to do anything. He can just do it all. And I would think, and this is the Blue Origin, this is like the Jeff Bezos guy that I think everybody doesn't think about, is that why did he make it into a business? He has enough money to do this probably for the rest of his life and 5 other lifetimes. So you think about think about that for a second. Jeff Bezos, one of the richest people ever in human history, decides to make a rocket company to make humanity multiplanetary to live and work on other planets. And he said live and work a bunch of times too. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but instead of like having this utopian world that everybody thinks outer space is, which it's not, it's absolutely violent and will you won't last long up there without the proper gear. But mostly what he says is that you'll live and work in space. So he's thinking, once we get the 1,000,000 people in space, everybody's going to be working, which I I tend to agree with, that if you're going to space and you're going to build a colony in space, you have to help everybody else. You have to work with everybody else. So, but it's the way that he says it sometimes that just kind of is like, oof, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. He's a different breed. Him and Elon are both different breeds. So uh, their their lives are not like yours and mine. They're completely different people than us. They do things much differently than us, and they have a different view on everything than us because of who they are and what they've accomplished, and just internally what kind of person they are. Um, but I find it exciting that New Glenn is becoming a thing. I think it's exciting for New Glenn and Blue Origin to be making their own lunar lander. I think it's great that SpaceX has direct competition with their lunar lander with the HLS program. There's no reason why they should be the only provider. I think we should have 4 or 5 providers. I don't think we should have 2 or 3. I think we should have numerous providers that are sending lunar landers to the moon's surface, so we could have a constant float of landers, people, cargo, gear, food, whatever. And if some people are going to the um, the south side where everything is really cold, we should also have bases other places. I think that would make more sense too. I don't think we should just limit it to just the southern hemisphere, just the south of the moon. I think that would be silly. So I think having numerous moon bases scattered throughout on the moon would make more sense. Now, of course, we know they're going to the south of the moon because of the lunar regolith, and also um, because they will be using that water ice to make propellant and also to make water, so people can live on the moon. Because what do you need on the moon? It's kind of like, what do you need in Antarctica or underwater in a Sea Lab? Sea Lab 2020 is probably the best show ever, by the way. So, what do you need on the moon? You need food, water, air, radiation protection, and some way to not freeze. So you're gonna have to have your moon suit, which is basically uh, a spacecraft that you propel yourself around in, I guess. Just with your feet. That's your propellant, is your feet. And when you are just a person on the moon, you need those basic necessities. So with water, you can make oxygen, you can make hydrogen. Hydrogen makes fuel. Oxygen, you breathe it. Water, you can make that too. You can drink that. You can make food with water. You can boil things. And it's, but who knows how much radiation is on the moon's surface? How much radiation is in that ice, in that water? Um, is it going to be able to be ingested? Are you going to be able to drink the moon water? You know, once you thaw the moon water, are you going to be able to drink the moon water? And is there too much radiation? How are they going to do that? I don't know. Those are the things that the little things we say they're little, but they're not. That's the biggest thing. Like getting to the moon is going to be difficult. Yes, living on the moon, working on the moon is going to be extraordinarily hard. Making a habitat on the moon is going to be one of the most impressive feats of human engineering, if not the most impressive thing that humans have ever done. I would say so, yeah. The most impressive thing humans have ever done. And who knows? Who knows how long we're going to be there? Who knows how far we're going to make it? Are we going to have 3 or 4 people there, or are we going to have eventually hundreds or thousands of people on the moon? I don't know. Either way, it's going to be impressive. So that about wraps it up, everybody. I want to say thank you for hanging out, uh, being part of this stream tonight. And I'm going to continue doing these streams. I think they're fun. I like space flight. So that's going to be part of this channel as well, because that's how we started out. Space flight, space flight, space flight for about 4 years. I switched over to my career recently on this channel. And I like to do both things. So we're going to do both things. So I want to say thanks again, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye. Let me get me off of here. And then I never have an end screen. That's the running gag. There's no end screen here. Bye. Let's get a little fade out, fade to black. And then we go.